Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am so blessed and honored to have my good friend, Paul Seymour, solutions architect, Bristol Global Mobility, on the show today. He is I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him a lot of things, okay, and then he can refute it later. But I mean, he's a technologist. He's really smart. He's into science, and I was having conversations with him about kind of the future of our industry. And we've been having talks over like the last year. We've even made a couple of videos, which we haven't released yet. One because my iPhone got smashed and it's just, it's dead forever. But we're going to talk a little bit about digitization and what the heck is digitization and where's the business going and where's service delivery going and all of these really cool things. So I'm really, really, really fortunate to have him on the program today. Before I bring him out, you're probably wondering, Ben, how do I get one of those really amazing, awesome t-shirts you're wearing? I am so glad you asked. Along the bottom, super producer Janet has put a link, tinyurl.com/love-and-relo t-shirt. That's /love-and-relo t-shirt. 100% of the proceeds go to support Move for Hunger. This is Hunger Action Month. September is Hunger Action Month. And so for a $35 donation or more, you too can get a limited edition Love and Relo t-shirt. It's foil, it's flashy, it's probably safe to jog in at night. I'll never know, but you should definitely pick one up. Janet's laughing at my lack of exercise. Anyway, but no, definitely pick one up, support a good cause. Check out the link below. And I love y'all, appreciate y'all. People are coming in from Facebook. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that heart for Paul, and let's get it popping. Let's bring Paul out. Paul, what's up, man?
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
I'm so happy to have you on today, dude. I'm in such a good headspace right now. I got my coffee, I got Paul, I got technology, I got a cool tee on that actually fits me. Now, hard is to find a t-shirt that fits me. The people who Move for Hunger really did it right. Very excited right now. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really disappointed that I don't have the t-shirt to represent. I've been trying to get on Tanya's site to give my $35. So that's
Bro, just keep logging back in because we're breaking the internet right now. So if you can't get through, just keep refreshing. Okay. Yeah. You might have to restart and then power back up. I don't know. But yeah, pretty excited. Thank you, man. I appreciate it though. All kidding aside though, I'm really excited about Move for Hunger doing this for me. Dude, it's so good to have you here.
Thanks.
We're talking about technology. I remember the first time I met you, and by the way, shout out to Martin Mayotte in the comments here, because
he was there.
Yeah, he was there, exactly. He was there, and he's already clowning me right now, which is what Martin's really great at doing. But then he has to respect the shirt. But Martin was there. Yeah, Martin and I met you in a Starbucks in Capel or something weird.
No, it was Las Colinas.
Las Colinas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I was trying to remember. I drove it in my mind.
Yeah, and we were super excited to meet you, and because we were oh yeah, we got a meeting with Bristol. It's gonna be sweet, whatever, And then afterwards, I left thinking, Martin, I don't know if that was the right person to meet with at Bristol, but I really like that guy a lot. That was my takeaway from our meeting. But since then, I've really got to know you, and I think you're brilliant, and I'm so excited to have you here today. Yeah. Before we get started, I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm really sorry. I'm so excited. But before we get started, let's do some shout outs here real quick. Say what's up to everybody here. Let's see here. We got Eve O'Reilly. Good afternoon. It's a very, very nice professional greeting. John Fernandez. Hello from Arizona. What's up, John? Hey, Ben and Paul, checking in with Prime Communications. Looking forward to Paul's awesome insights. Feel privileged to know him and work with him. For sure. Drew Phillips, whoa, Love and Relo swag. Yeah, bro, it's swaggy B. All right, let's see here. Patricia, hi from Scottsdale.
Pat's my ex-work wife.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Hi, Pat.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love it. I have so many jokes. Fernando, hello from Brazil, guys. Moving business is really slow here. Borders closed, consulates closed. It's sad. Fernando, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Just drink lots of cachaça. It'll be okay, man. We'll wake you up when there's a shipment.
Hey.
Julie, what's up, Julie? Hey, shout out to Julie. She got a shirt already.
She was the first one.
She's an early adopter. What's up, Julie? Let's see here. Sean Griggs t-shirt is blinging for real, right? Let's see, Victoria McCullough. Hi, Ben. Welcome, Paul. She's in the DFW.
Yeah, she is a DFW.
Hosea Botley. Hello from Seattle. Can't wait to get my T-shirt. Hosea, get one for the whole family, man. Family pics. Georgia Angle. Love technology and how we'll propel our industry into the new era. Thank you, Georgia. Great to see you. Faye Hawksworth.
Yay.
Hey, Ben and Paul. So excited for today's show and love the shirt. I think we might have an Old Republic story coming up too as well, Faye. So shout out. Sandra Clary. Hi, Paul, Ben, and Janet. Great topic today. What's up, Sandra? Sandra's also with a technology company now. Congrats, Sandra, with EDC. Vinny Valverde. Hi, guys. Looking great. I do not have much time. Crazy times, but I wanted to come by and say hi. Vinny, you don't just pop into Love and Relo, okay? Get comfortable. Get a snack, okay? Get an ergonomic chair, all right? Don't go anywhere. You trust me, it gets a lot better in the second half. Christina Swank. Hi, guys. So good to see you both. I definitely need that T-shirt. For real, right? Right? It's fine. All right, look at this. This is great. Jason, hey, everybody, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that heart button as well. Let everybody know we're live here and watching here. We got a bunch of people checking in. This is great. Martin sucking up to the Packers fans. It's great. It's great. Awesome. He's got to do something now that Michigan's not playing football. Molly Feldman, shout out to Jacksonville. Betsy, what up, Bets? All right. We'll save some shout outs here. Go ahead and ask questions, everybody. Get involved in the conversation. Love to hear your thoughts on digitization. Paul, let's get us started right here. We're talking about digitization. What the hell is digitization? What's the difference between digitization and digitalization? Good question.
So digitization is really the transition or the movement from an analog system to a digital system. I mean, for a lot of us, and despite how young I look, I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I remember entering the industry, and we all had huge, super thick files, and we all worked the files. If your assistant needed to come and get something out of your desk, they opened a drawer, it almost knocked over your desk, pulled this huge file out, and then everything happened.
Somebody takes the file home for the weekend, or
you couldn't. Your car couldn't hold that weight. But we all had these huge files, and then some point in the 2000s we kind of got smart and was like, oh, we could run a report and just work our caseload on a report. But it went out to like double Z, with all the columns of information.
Z, add a column. Yeah.
And lo and behold, now we're like, oh, what? The system's not auto approving something, and it's like, huh? I mean, how did we get here? So that's where I've always been kind of fascinated by it. None of us in this RMC space, and that's where I've been my whole life, got a roadmap and said, oh man, by 2012 you need to be digital. But we all, just through economic pressures and client requests and just the business, we all followed the same path and kind of reached the same thing. And now we're looking at it and we're like, wow, we're these technology companies, which is kind of cool because we all do relocation pretty well. And even though that's really important, it's kind of the differentiator I see in our space is, well, how do you use tech and how do you use that? And that's really where digitalization comes into place, is how are you using technology to achieve goals and provide solutions and make your process stronger and better and more efficient.
So it's almost like digitization is going from analog to digital with your internal files, let's just say, right? And digitalization is how you deliver services and you kind of customer facing stuff almost digitally.
Yeah, how are you using technology to support
commerce and mobile apps and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep. How do you give destination content? How do you even do policy counseling or needs assessments? So many tools now. I don't want to say they replace the mobility advisor, who's doing that policy counseling and needs assessment. But there are tools out there that really walk you through that needs assessment. And as you start answering questions, it builds, your profile, and it starts using AI to kind of predict, well, you're gonna need these services, and then it presents it to you. I mean, it's really some stuff out there is pretty sophisticated.
Okay, so give me some examples of some of the coolest applications, digital applications within the mobility industry. Like, what are some of the cool things people are doing digitally that they used to do with analog processes or very people-intensive processes?
I mean, I think virtual surveys, household goods. right there. Using FaceTime to walk through a home and do that process that would involve having someone drive out to the home, meet with somebody. You have a stranger in the house, or you're trying to take time off from work to accomplish this. Now you just do it with your phone, and you walk through the home. Gives you a video record of everything that's happened. Also helps with claims. Looking at condition of things and stuff like that. You can always refer back to it. So I think virtual surveys, in that sense, right there, is one thing that's simplified the process and used technology to provide a solution.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on that notion,
okay.
Right? Because I think virtual surveys are probably the most the most obvious application that everybody's talking about, right? It's very it's very customer facing, it's very public, right? Especially companies that are in that space. After about 2 years now of using virtual surveys, I'm noticing a difference in the accuracy depending on the time of year. So in the summertime, they're less accurate because the people that are actually doing them a lot of times with these survey companies are newer in the summer. And so we get less accuracy, which is also the time of year where accuracy is most important because we're cramming 30,000 pounds on that tractor trailer and there's no buffer, and it overflows and you get problems, right? It's happened to me a couple of years ago in the summertime. Do you, and typically moving companies, and I'm going to geek out on some moving stuff. I know you work for a moving company briefly, but typically moving companies are restricted to honoring 110% of the weight that we estimated. Now with digital virtual surveys, do you think that we'll be potentially given some leeway on that 110% rule?
I don't think so. So I guess what we're doing is we're setting you up to fail because we're asking you to do something that's newer and less.
Yeah, it's like, how much household goods do I got? Well,
yeah.
Okay. Then give me maybe another instance of maybe something that's not so obvious and not so public that there's a digitalized process that maybe used to be done pen and paper, carbon copies, fax machines, whatever, that now we're doing digitally for the first time.
Okay, well, we kind of mentioned just a moment ago. So Faye, I had a conversation with Faye Hawksworth earlier from Old Republic, and she, we were talking about how we did our first completely electronic closing, and she called it a RON, I think. I might have got that wrong. She'll put it in the notes. But what they did was we had an individual who was in Mexico, could not come back to the States quickly enough, needed to close, and she acted as our electronic notary. They did everything electronic, all through like a Skype video, submitted it to the mortgage company, got approval, recorded the transaction through the local registration, title company, not title, what I'm thinking, the county, I can't think. But did everything electronically. And so it was our first ever completely electronic closing. And, and that's an industry that, for 100 years has, when the fax machine, came into play, that was a big deal. So wow. That was probably the last innovation in that area. No offense. I mean, I don't want to downplay what title and closing do, but it's an old established industry that doesn't
the name of the company has old in the title. I mean, I think they know that they're an old fashioned industry. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Let's see here. She said, oh yeah, Ron, she's commenting here, remote online notarization. Yeah, and the county recorder's on. Okay, Faye.
Yeah, there, thank you. I knew
it. No, this is great. We got people commenting here. I would love, if you're watching right now, first of all, thank you. Hit that like button, but also go ahead and leave in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on digitization, digitalization. What are some of the digital applications that you'd like to see in the relocation business? What is your company working on? Like, what would you like to see? What are some advancements in your service line here? Let's get some more shout outs here real quick here to what you're saying, her old concert buddy.
Yep.
What concert did you guys go to?
We've seen Lady Gaga. We've seen Broadway shows. Yeah. We saw the oh my gosh, I just mental blocked.
That's fine. You can just make something up. I mean, nobody's gonna fact check you. I mean, that's what I do all the time. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate the shirt. Shout out. Hey, get your shirt. Donate $35 to Move for Hunger during Hunger Action Week, and you get a shirt. Hi, Ben and Paul. Happy Wednesday from Atlanta. What's up, Laura? Here we go. Let's see here. Long sleeve tee. I live in those. That's great. That's great. Tamara. What's up? Talking tech. Tamara, what's your favorite tech application in mortgage? Love to hear about it. Sean Ireland, shout out to the DF Bear Down. Olivia Barami. Paul, get off Love and Reload. We got an RFP to get done. Olivia, that's your job, okay? Just kidding. Tony, shout out to the Bay. Let's see. Jamie, cheers from sunny Mississippi. What's up, Jamie? Good to see you. Martin has a question. I love questions. Please ask lots of questions. Martin says, Paul, do we need to worry about singularity? I'll be honest, I have no idea what singularity means.
I mean, I only know it from the sci-fi kind of connotation, and I don't know if we'll ever get to a place where AI is so smart that it's going to replace us. That's singularity. And this is my understanding. But I did read something very interesting today. So Takeda Pharmaceuticals, really, I follow them on LinkedIn, and they had released a thing about more about RPAs, which is something I really like, robotic processing automations. And
tell us what that is.
So robotic processing automations is like an application that you can buy. You can just go out and buy one of those tools, and it overlays over your basically your HTML, what's visibly available on the internet. And so a lot of our technologies that we use have web application, and they have a web interface, where you could click and point and press buttons.
Like a website?
Anyway, like a website, just like a website, Okay. But what happens with RPA is that you can program it to do actions of a human. And so like it would be like you're at the case. So how we want to more or less use it at Bristol is like, how can we simplify our expense process? And how can we avoid the manual execution of processing expenses? Because we have a wizard tool that kind of walks through each step, and each step has a certain construct and stuff. How do we automate that? Well, you can do that through an RPA, and you just basically record it, and then this is the steps it takes to approve an expense.
So click here, put in a figure here, click here.
Okay. Yep, all that, and then what you can do is record that, and then you can have like a team member audit a report instead of going through manually. And then let's say they do 50 of them on this one report. They go, yep, everything's great. Press the button, and it just goes boop, and it's done. So it takes anything that's really repetitive and automates that process without having to reprogram a whole application. It just sits over your thing. So it's a really nice tool. It's very useful in accounting and back end type of things and stuff like that. So it's really it's like a workflow that actually does it on the front end instead of behind the scenes.
Hey, Martin, go ahead and put the definition of singularity in the comments there, because I am curious about this. So let me go to my next question here, Paul. So how is digitization? Okay, this is cool. We understand. Okay, the computers are taking over. We're all going to lose our jobs. We get it, right? But it's like buy Amazon stock while you can, and just right. No, but how is this really affecting the way that companies use their HR fund? How is this impacting HR, right? This is actually a session topic. Shout out to the YP4 Worldwide ERC and the YP40s. We're building this session around digitization in HR. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. But how is digitization impacting our clients' corporate mobility?
I mean, I think the biggest push for HR is transparency and visualization into what's going on, whether it's their data or some step along the way. And I think how Relo can help that situation for HR is that not necessarily keep them into separate sandboxes. Let them work in their sandbox, their HR sandbox, and push the information that they need to have. That's one way. So a lot of things about integration and this ecosystems and things like that. And what it is just a free flowing of information between partners. So you can have your supplier partner, let's say they do integration, they feed you information automatically. They don't have to do anything. It's just automatically sharing information. It connects through the relocation management company's system, and then it takes that information and pushes it to the HR system. That way everyone's working in their own kind of wheelhouse. They don't have to work in each other's systems or sandboxes.
So the HR department has a system like, I mean, and correct me where I'm wrong, this is my assumption here, like Workday is, I mean, so they use a Workday or something system.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that kind of runs their HR as their HR platform. And then are we at a place now where companies are frequently integrating their HRIS, I believe, HR systems into their RMC's system? I mean, are we there yet, or is that a future state?
I mean, we have a few that we've already integrated with, and specifically with Workday. I think I don't know how to describe this, but the push for it happens more often when clients or HRs tend to get on board with a new HR system, regardless of whether it's Workday or SAP or whatever it might be, to get that added to their wish list. So I think it's a hot topic that they want to have. And what always happens, at least in my experience, is I engage with a client, I start doing implementation. They always want to have integration, and we start that conversation, and then it's a resource limitation. They don't have somebody on their side that can actually do or commit to it because they've got 10,000 other projects and stuff. So that's kind of where and vice versa, it can be on our side too. But it's always a resource limitation. I don't think we're at a point yet where integrations are as simple as just like plugging in a USB. I think they will get there. I think there's going to be some, simplicities that are, technologies that are developed that just make that process much more simple. But at this point, they're not there. We're still kind of new, but go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, when you're talking about how simple, from a resource standpoint, I've been on the other side of this, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, we can integrate. It's going to be sweet. Your system talks to my system. They hang out. They get stuff done together. We can take more time off, whatever. And then you get down to it, brass tacks. And they're like, yeah, we got some API, language. We'll just send that over, no problem, no biggie, right? And then like there's one guy in the building that can do it, and his list of stuff is this long. And it's like, and then you end up down here, and then to your point, it never gets done. And so then you buy into a relationship predicated on having this kind of connectivity and integration, and it just doesn't get achieved. And I wonder, how far away are we from, Ben wants to do business with Paul, and Ben can actually facilitate that connection together, where I don't have to go find the smartest guy in my company who has a laundry list of things to do, but I can actually handle that integration. I mean, because I feel like that is kind of when we've achieved, when we can really, this thing is really real.
I think, I don't want to get on its Workday bandwagon, but that's the one I've done the most integration with. In my experience, and it's been more, I don't want to say more recent, but I'm finding that Workday has done a lot of work in this area in the sense that if you have a good HRIS analyst, not necessarily a programmer, just an analyst, meaning someone who works in the system and can kind of configure things. There's a lot of easy configurations that can be done to open up basically from my experience, open up a report, create your data fields, your columns of data, and then just to say, yep, these are what I want to transmit. And what they do is then they publish or make available that API call. And then what we do is we build the other side of that. So we bridge that API. You do a mapping exercise to say, okay, these are the fields that you need to have, and then you do it. And you can do that through like Secure FTP or through XML or, different things like that. But I think it's closer than we think. Down the road. And if anyone has questions or concern, want to bring it up to me out offline, I can share some stuff that might help if they have Workday, that is.
So then so we talked about like how this has impacted HR, right? And how does this now impact the way that RMCs operate? this digitization of HR? How is this impacting the way that RMCs operate and deliver services now?
I don't think there's necessarily a change in process. I think it improves process and puts a lot more earnest on, on your processes, because it highlights them. If something isn't done, let's say you didn't put a data field in there or something, it definitely, brings up, you can't go back and catch up 3 weeks later.
That's so funny. I just want to talk about that really quick, because I just went to a conference, like back when we went to conferences, maybe last year or 2 years ago, and literally we had a whole breakout session on data integrity.
Yeah.
Where like we literally sat there and talked about data integrity, i.e., filling out the fields properly, proper case, whatever, and that's really it.
Yeah, it totally highlights your processes, and if you don't have strong enough processes for that, that's where it's gonna fall apart, or it's not gonna work and stuff. So you really gotta make sure your ship's started, going the right path and stuff before you can just open up the gates and say, yeah, we're ready to do this. So
I mean, do you think that that's one of the biggest challenges? That, I mean, where are we right? Where are RMCs collectively on this? I mean, on this spectrum, this journey. I mean, have we gone full digital, or there are still a lot of us out there, on the RMC side using folders and whatnot?
I mean, I know, like for Bristol, for example, from our perspective, we're 100% paperless. Now, that doesn't mean that we haven't had client or people who've created a folder at one point for some purpose and stuff. We don't encourage that, especially in this day of data security and personal identifiable information, all that stuff. We don't want to have that. We want to keep it in the system. So our processes are really geared towards that paperless environment, working in a system that, when a person calls, you're typing your note right in the system about the conversation you're having, things like that. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, and it doesn't mean that all RMCs are there. I think we're all on the same road, going to the same path. We're all at different places. I think it just depends on your culture. As a corporation, and your company's desire to get there and stuff. So we've invested a lot in integration, both on the vendor supplier side and on our HR, RMC side. So those are the two avenues that we've really focused on trying to get those places, established.
You talk about the supplier side, and that's obviously the side of that I work on, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, the bane of my existence are these portals that every RMC seems to want to maintain and have us log into.
Yes.
It changes our password every month on us, right? Until I'm using university 123 pound hash, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I can't remember anything. Scott Augenbaum would be rolling me, right now. But so my question is with this though is how does this impact suppliers now? Like, how does this roll down to us?
I mean, I think, there's different ways you can obviously do an integration, and we've offered many different ways. But, I think the goal is that once you get an integration in place, it's going to save so much time from your day-to-day people on the supplier side. They're not going to have to log in with 20,000 different logins and passwords.
But we have to integrate, and I don't necessarily, I'll be honest, like, I don't know that we integrate with anybody.
Okay.
and I work for a major van. I'll probably get like a call about this, but I mean, I hear everybody saying that we need to integrate, we need to have the ecosystem, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that anybody's doing that right now. I'll tell you what, whoever sells us paper is vacationing in the Keys every year because we buy a lot.
Still using it, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got the Manila jungle downstairs for sure. And so I mean, how do we get there?
I think you just got to get with your main RMC partner and say, hey, we want to integrate. And then, you work with that, have that initial call. I think that's the easiest way to at least get a conversation started, and then to find out what needs to happen. Because right now you're probably sitting there going, who do I even invite? You need your IT guy, whoever that is. But I mean, you have that conversation and you start you start discussing, well, what are the the mechanisms of doing this integration. So there is a full integration where you have API and you're pushing and pulling details. We have a tool that we can simplify the integration, and you could just provide a report that you report or send it to an FTP site. We pick it up and automatically import it into the system, and it is in a certain format, so it acts just like an import, but it's done daily or done weekly. We just determine what your schedule you want is. Those are the easiest ways to kind of get integration started, and then what it does is it removes you from having that requirement to go in and type, like log in and type in dates into a field. So
okay, all right, let's see what people are saying out here. We got some people checking in over here. Let's get some shout outs real quick. We got people asking about t-shirts as well. Hey Janet, you want to really quick run that shirts banner real quick for us too? Let people know where they can pick up the shirts here. You can get your Love and Relo shirts, $35 donation, 100% of the money goes to Move for Hunger. tinyurl.com/love-and-relo t-shirt. Again, 100% goes to benefit Move for Hunger. It is National Hunger Action Month. September is Hunger Action Month, and especially during COVID, it's really important that we remember people who are food insecure. We're going to be doing a lot of work this month. We got shows on every Friday this month. We got a special. Tanya Maratini from Expedia Group is going to be my co-host. We'll see how this goes. Should be a lot of fun. Let's see who we got checking in over here. Thank you so much, Janet. We got Annette checking in from rainy Dallas. It never rains in Dallas. That's when it gets scary in Dallas. That's when you get the flash floods. Deborah Graham, great topic. That's awesome. Simon Johns, hi from the UK. Rambo, hi Paul and Ben. Definitely had some drinks, the three of us together. Let's see here. Erica Burton, hello, hey. Paul and Ben. Erica, you gave me chills today. I watched your video on diversity. Oh my gosh, your story. God bless you. Love you, girl. Marco, Ben just donated to Move for Hunger, so I can get a sweet shirt too. Can I get an autographed version since you're such a huge star? Dude, if I write on your shirt, the value goes down. Okay, so don't even play games, Marco. Okay, appreciate you, man. Let's see here. Maximiliano, where can I get that awesome Love and Relo shirt? Hey, man, appreciate you. It's down on the bottom, Maximiliano. Except Argentina pesos, dude. I don't know. Y'all's currency fluctuates too much. I don't know if I'm accepting that or not. I'm just kidding. This is stuff I learned from Love and Relo. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Fernando, I'm old school. I love site surveys, on-site surveys. Virtual is good, but is not as precise as on-site, and is good to explain all the processes face-to-face. I know I got to get used to it. What do you think about this, right? So Fernando's old school, even though it's not that old, but I mean, what do you think about this?
I know I agree. I mean, I can see the limitations of the virtual tool, but I'm a tech guy, so I love the idea of it, and I love the simplicity of it. It's like, just kind of, let's do a FaceTime call, let's walk through it. But I totally get that the hardest thing about just this COVID experience and everything being virtual is that you're not making a real connection with people. I mean, obviously, if we were doing this together and we're sitting next to each other, completely different dynamic, even though I think it's going well. I think it's going well. but I think I think there's definitely chemistry that occurs when humans connect, and I think that we miss that from technology, and definitely from pushing so much technology. I think we can get away from that. We use a term at Bristol that we use technology as an enabler. We don't want to replace, we don't want to replace the human contact. So.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, Martin went ahead and actually wrote something in here that makes me want to just go die. Martin wrote here, singularity is a hypothetical point in time. This is what I get for asking Martin to define singularity for me. Hypothetical point in time in which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable changes to human civilization. Elon Musk warns this will happen in the next 5 years. Thank you, Elon, and thank you, Martin. I mean, but seriously though, how does digitization? I mean, this is the big thing. I think this is why it's such a big deal in HR, because HR departments, I think, are scared to death that their job is going to be digitized, right? And if I get a robot that can click this button, click this button, click this button, why do I need Susie, right? And that I think is a scary thing. Fortunately, I can always get on the back of the truck and bust my back and load boxes, at least for the next 10 years until Elon Musk creates robots that does it for me.
That does it for you.
But I mean, but how real is this? Are we looking at 5 years from now having virtualized relocation consultants with AI? I mean,
we could. I think that's definitely a fear, and I think that's definitely there's an opportunity there to eliminate roles and items within the industry. You have two types of schools that happen, that we see every day. You see a tech savvy person who doesn't want any contact, just text me. And you see another person who's like, no, I want you to talk to me, and I want you available 24/7. And I'm going to call you during dinner and ask you about my expense report. So there's two solutions. I don't think either one will solve for each one, but unfortunately, I think we have to accommodate for both.
What's interesting is I was reading just today. Somebody sent me a review website that had reviews on an RMC that was heavily digital, right? And I'm not going to talk about who it is or anything, but very digital forward, right? Mm-hmm. And on the reviews, it was very interesting because the technology, it's kind of clunky. There's a lot going on. I don't really know what's happening here. There's a lot of options. I'm a little kind of freaked out by this whole thing. I don't know where I see options, but I don't know which the best one is. I don't know where to put my money and what to do with it, right? And what's funny? Their 5-star reviews were all like, "Oh, Rhonda was fantastic. Oh, Jimmy was great. When I talked to the consultant, they were so nice." And it was so interesting because this company's strategy is tech first. Yeah. Right, and creating platform that people can self-serve on, and yet all their best reviews and the stories, the wow stories that the customers were talking about were their interactions with Rhonda. So it's like, I mean, is it just smoke and mirrors? Is it just marketing, or do people really even want this digitalized experience?
I think if we could look into a crystal ball and answer that, we would all be rich because we would know where to put the money down the road. But I think it's that same, double, I don't want to call it double-edged sword, but it's that, how do you invest? We're all, RMCs, we're all very good at service. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't give good service and stuff. Olivia mentioned we're doing an RFP for tomorrow and stuff, and it's not necessarily concerned on how well you do stuff. It's more like, how well can you, either wow me with technology, cut the price down on pricing, or, do something else. But, they're all like, oh, you can do the job. That's why we were asking you to participate. So, but at the end of the day, it's about those connections, and it's about how well you can do that. In the case, you're talking about a tech forward company, I think I don't think we're there yet where everything is super intuitive. When you look at relocation, and nobody goes to school for relocation. Nobody, says at 8 years old, I'm going to be a relocation person. I mean, people I know who just said, I just, like last night, a friend of mine on Facebook just said, the relocation company took ownership of my home tonight. And I went, oh, and I messaged her and she goes, I thought this was what you did, and she still didn't know.
She still, don't you hate that? Yeah. By the way, like as a mover, I hate that when people are like, yeah, I just moved and it was terrible and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really, bro? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're ever, ever get away from that personalized, service. And I don't know if there's ever going to be a way to take tech and emulate, Rhonda or Sue or whoever, what they can provide in service, because there is so much that we, I always tell people, I'm like, what we do is we advocate for the employee, help them avoid the pitfalls along the way. Yet, 4 years ago, I moved back to Green Bay, and honestly, it was the worst experience of my life. And I done this up to, almost 20 years. Yeah. And it's like, I knew all the pitfalls and I still fell in them, so yeah. It's because I think there's an emotional element that is hard to connect with, and you put a lot of trust into processes and people, and if you're doing it through tech, it's hard to kind of go, you have mover A, mover B. I don't know the difference, where if you have someone say, hey, I know this company, they're going to give you a great job. Tom's great, whatever. So
yeah, and we still want to talk to that person and feel Tom out ourselves and be like, do I trust Tom? Do I like Tom? Do I want to do business with Tom? You know, I mean, there's a lot of that goes on too. Elena checking in. What's up, Elena? Good to see you. Let's see here. Faye, fun things happening in title and closing. That's funny. That's great. Janet says, I have also heard some people are purchasing homes without physically seeing them. Virtual home inspections too. This was the lost video. This is the lost Ben and Paul collabo.
That was
Great Lakes, where we talked about iBuyers. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I still think it's something that we as an industry have to figure out something probably soon, because that's what I fear. 5 years from now, they're going to be like, Relo, what? Because it's going to be taken over by a whole nother industry that we don't even have access to or touch. And it's with iBuyers. I think if you look at the whole BMA process and the whole, ways of establishing value for a home, it's super cumbersome. My neighbor is a Relo agent, and we have a neighborhood COVID-friendly party where we all sit in our respective lawn chairs in the driveway, have a couple adult drinks and visit. And she was talking about doing a BMA to one of my neighbors, and I'm sitting there across the group just smiling because they're like, what do you do? And she goes, I do relocation. And of course the same thing happens. What's relocation? So I laughed and I told her I work for Bristol, and she's like, oh my God. And I was like, anyway, long story short, she goes, the BMAs kill me. She's like, I could spend 4 days on them. They just take so much time. And I'm like, haven't they figured out a way to automate this? I mean, can't you just pull the data from this, from your system? And she's like, no, that's what I do. And I'm like, so anyway, I think there's opportunities out there. So anyone who's a tech person in real estate, hey, just figure out a way to do BMAs quicker. If you're a person who's got a lot of wealth and you're looking to invest in iBuyers, I think the funding is the limitation that relocation companies face with iBuyers. I think we're ripe to it. We definitely know how to do valuation. We know how to establish value. We can, we stand by it, behind it, all that stuff. But we have the market to even work selling it, but we just don't have the capital.
How would that process work?
Oh, I think it would be like if we could ideally identify some type of process where John is getting authorized for relocation. He comes in at some point, the company says, hey, we're ready to, buy your home, clicks on a button, and then the system just, takes data, does all the analysis that an appraiser would do, does it, I mean, right now we do it obviously with 2 comparisons, maybe a third, if they're out of spread, but, get 2 evaluations in some way, electronically, and then provide an average value and say, hey, this is what we would purchase your home at. Right now, if, you want to market your home, here's a real estate agent we can work with. You might do something where we discount it initially and say, hey, this is, less than whatever, 8% of your value or 10% of your home value, but you could take this value right now and we could turn around and, we'll take it in inventory, market it, sell it, or you can hold off, market it, and if we get a buyer, we'll amend that sale. That's how I see iBuyer kind of working for a Relo space. And then it would be something that could be opened up commercially ultimately,
So start in the relocation niche and then go to the public market,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Kind of like an affinity type program or something.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm. See, these are the gems right here. Yes, smart people with their best business ideas. There's somebody with some money out there writing all this down, Paul.
Yeah, I know.
You just gave them the gems there. Maybe they'll hire you when they put us out of business. Helen says we drank all right, Paul, how many old fashions do we drink at Redheads?
Do you know I had 25 on my bill?
25? 25, that's about right.
Yeah.
I was probably good for 4 of those. I don't know. That's awesome, Paul. You're a saint. You're the patron saint of old fashions. Oh, that's great, Paul. American authors.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's who we saw in concert.
Very cool. Very cool. Janet. Hey, Janet Cornerstone, Watchman Media, PA. What's up? Victoria, to Carter's credit, they went digital a few years ago. Remote closings were taking place when I left. Their latest application, MovePro 360, designed for the client. Most providers had access to their system, which was good. Let's see here. Victoria's on commission only. right now for Carter's. Let's see here. Martin talking about Singularity. Viva, great discussion with two great guys. Nice to see you, Paul. Topic is spot on, and Paul is a leader in the field. I know that's
Thanks,
why that's why I got only the best for you, Van Buckle. All right. Let's see. Client want RMCs to be more digital. They want access to those systems so they can get real-time information. Okay, for sure. Got that. Okay, and then that's what's great about integration. But I'm going to say, and you were talking about how important the tech aspect was in the RFP process, which you're supposed to be doing right now, and you're not. You're playing hooky on the RFP.
Mm-hmm.
But what is adoption really like? And I'm not talking about forced adoption, because some people are like, oh, our adoption's like 90%. Get out of here. That's because you make them do it, okay? But like what is voluntary adoption of digital relocation platforms like, in your honest opinion, by real transferees?
I think it's less than 20%.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that from like a technologist over here. Thank you very much for saying that, because that's what I think too. When everyone's like, no, we get graded. Ours is super great. And it's like 80%. Like, get out of here, man. Just lying. Yeah, it's like 20%, right? Because but yet, what percentage do you think? Okay, I'm going to ask you for another totally baseless percentage guess here. But what percentage of the RFP award process, the decision-making process, is around the technology category? How big of a deal is that if you were to put a percentage number on it?
I think there's definitely an impact, but it depends on the client though too, or the prospect. But I would say maybe a third, in the decision. I say it would be like tech, pricing, and service. Those three,
which by the way, you can't really quantify. Sorry, if you say, oh yeah, 99%
exactly
satisfaction. It's like right. We could do a whole other show on how full of crap that number is. Mm-hmm. Not for you guys, but for
but I know, just
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool. I appreciate your honesty there. Let's see. Dawn checking in.
Hey, Dawn.
Jason, vendor integration is the future. Love it. Yeah, this is the future, but like going, to resources, who's got resources for, like we're a moving company. Okay. You want to see a really great moving company? A really great moving company has really great drivers, really great help, quality materials, PM trucks.
You don't have 50 IT guys on staff?
No, I don't have one IT guy on staff. Okay, I got like a third of an IT guy on this staff. Okay, and he's got more paper on his desk than you've ever seen in your life. Okay, I've got a typewriter on the first floor. I've got a typewriter on the second floor. Okay, that's what we're talking about right now. We're a good moving company. Okay, God knows what these other people are working with. Okay, let's just be 100% transparent right now. So how am I supposed to really get to sending the bits and the bytes into the cloud and getting the bits and the bytes back? How do I really transition? If I say, you know what, Paul, dang it, technology is the future. I'm buying in. I believe the hype. Okay. How do I make that jump in that journey over the next 5 years before robots take over the world?
I think that's just this, how do you eat an elephant? You take one bite at a time. So you got to break it down into simple steps. And I think it's just, I would have that conversation with your, RMC or RMCs and say, what's it take to get there? What do I have to do? I don't have a lot of resources, and then you just kind of, set up, work through a project. And, if it takes you a year to get there, it takes you a year to get there. It's not going to be a simple flip of a switch, but, I think it's easy if they've done it before, and then they can give you a little roadmap and say, well, this is what we're going to need. And then you can kind of go back to the company and say, okay, this. I don't know what this means, but this is what they've told me is the roadmap. And, and you kind of work with, your internal teams and kind of figure it out to go, okay, well, obviously you're probably going to need to hire somebody who might know something about our system. Whatever that is. Or you might contact another mover that you're partner with and say, hey, have you guys integrated? How would you do it? And they go, oh, Tom knows how to do it. Let me put you in contact. Those types of things are the conversations.
Speaking of business models, you could have a contractor that just goes around and handles integration projects. Not their specialty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Do you ever think we're going to get to a point where, just like GDPR came out, we all had to be compliant, right?
Yeah.
PPI came out, we all had to be compliant. Like, does are we ever going to get to a point where you have to be integration compliant, where it's going to be a requirement and RMC is going to say, hey, listen, gosh, we can only work with integrated suppliers?
I don't want to jinx us, but if there's a bad data breach somewhere in the world, or something that happens that removes, email communications and or, just those normal communication transactions, then yeah, there could be something that pushes us over the edge and tells us we have to. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I don't think we're on any hackers' radar, and I shouldn't say that.
But there's companies in the relocation space that are getting hacked every month, probably, that are getting held for ransom. So, I mean, I think we might be getting there, So interesting. Christina's shouting out Wisconsin. What up, Blondie? Checking in from ReloQuest. Viva. In general, we see supplier side is going quicker as RMCs in going truly digital, with some exceptions. Bristol's on the mission for a long time already, as a few other RMCs. Next 2 years will be giving a lot of speed in this global process. I mean, that's the thing too, right? So as a supplier, I mean, you guys work with hundreds of suppliers. Well, as a supplier, we have dozens of RMC clients or whatever kind of clients, right? That's a lot of integrations as well. I mean, is it like one of those things where we would prioritize, okay, people that use, and I'm just going to say names here. I'm not sponsoring, just shouting anybody out, but like say Equus or like, Enya, or like, do we go to people like that first and like integrate with them and then go to the proprietaries afterwards? Because I mean, I would assume that there's a fair amount of mapping that's going to happen between the two. And we also haven't talked about standardization of fields and terms.
Correct. Yeah, I think there's two different, obviously, approaches you can take to integration. You can go big or you can go wide, I would call it. Going big would be like going to, the large RMC spaces like the Cartuses or the BGRS, or places where you have high volumes. Going wide might be to go to, say, the Equises or the Enios, because at that point, when you're integrated with those solutions, you have access to more suppliers within those tools and stuff. So that's where you're going wider. So it just depends on your philosophy or your strategy. I know you have some relationships with Cartus of the world and stuff. That would make sense to me to go big in that sense. With them.
Start there, kind of. So interesting. This is, and what do you think, really quick though, what do you think about standardizations though? Because this has been another thing that people have raised. Hey, we're not even necessarily speaking the same language on some things.
I mean, I don't know. It would be great if there is some kind of tool, and maybe ERC could even work to help that out, where they put together a group of, different suppliers and or RMCs and get them communicating, and just to say, what are the data elements that you use, what are yours, and kind of coming to a standard. So it's like, I have 23 fields and you have 56 and they have 27, and what's that standard that we need, because there might be even items that we're not even tracking that others are. So what is that and what's the best way? I think just having those discussions is smart though. I remember when we set up a lot of our stuff for our mobile app with Temp Living, we reached out to our Temp Living providers and asked them, what do you want to know? What do you want to see? And they're like, oh, tell us if they have a dog and what kind of dog, what the weight is, because that's a big deal. Tell us about garage spaces. Tell us if they're going to show up with a motorcycle, because that happens all the time. Those are the things that, it's like,
I'm going to have a peanut allergy before I make this gift bag over here.
Yeah. But what do they need to be successful that we could share up front, and then in turn, what can we get back? So like one of the things that we provide is the gate code, not gate code, but the room code. How many times have I been victim myself where I show up staying at a Temp Living place and I go, oh my God, it's in the paperwork, which is at my desk. And so you have to call someone. It's like, why not just show it on the app?
After 25 old fashions, trying to remember the gate code is a little difficult. Thank you very much. That's funny. That is hilarious. Let's see here. We got some more comments here. These are great, everybody. We've got probably 7 minutes left here, so if you got any questions, throw them in there. Marco says, I believe one of the major forces behind the call to digitization will be Gen Z. As they enter the workforce in increasing numbers, they will expect any relocation experience to be equal to technology. they interact with in their normal day-to-day. They will also be quick to readily criticize poorly implemented tech.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think they're definitely the driver. And that's where we have to become wise, or else we're going to be, forgotten. Where it'll be the MySpace of relocation.
Yeah. Well, no, and I think there's something to this, because I think at this point, if you present a customer with bad tech, it's almost insulting. Mm-hmm. Have you ever experienced that when you're using some bad technology and you're like, these people really think that I'm going to use this and I'm going to engage with this? I mean, the audacity, the unmitigated gall of this company, right? I mean, it does. And I think this is even starting with the millennial, of which I'm 38, so I'm at the tippy top of that. But
it happens. I remember having my neighbor kids, and my kid was home. I remember I found an old a computer from I think I did my graduate work on, from the 90s. I booted it up, and they were like, oh my God, they're touching the screen. They're like, it's so grainy. And I was like, really? And I'm thinking, no, it looks fine, but that's because their experience is so different from ours,
Yeah, your phone has 10 times the resolution of your.
Oh yeah, and they're poking it with a stick, trying to see if it would wake up.
This is great. Martin wants to know if he's the only one who's buying into this Black Mirror Singularity. He's asking Andrew Bruzy. I love when people tag each other and talk to each other. That's great, Martin. Yes, you're in outer space, and yes, it's real. Janet, agree with Marco. Yeah, for sure. Matt Tobel, hello, Chicago. Yeah, Matt's awesome. David Rivera, Paul, what's up? Matt, I'd love to know about digitization and temp housing. Believe it. Let's see here. Digitization helps improve the process so that consultants can spend more time with their transfers and signings. Isn't this the argument, right? It's like the computers are just going to help us spend more time on the human activities.
Mm-hmm.
Do you buy that?
I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I think that's what everyone's working towards. At the end of the day, I don't want my consultants sitting there spending, all day typing in notes. I don't want my consultant or mobility advisor, going through, reviewing a BMA. I'd rather have, them, I want them to be knowledgeable about it. So I want them to just read an executive summary that just says, this is what you need to know about what's in this report. I can highlight it, whatever it is. So if you can get AI to analyze it and do something like that, where these are the points you need to, know, I think that's where it makes people more efficient,
So what are we going to be doing? Are we just going to be delivering these things with empathy? Is that going to be our role?
That's just a big teddy bear of love.
Hey, Miss Smith, just want to let you know my AI analyzed your needs and we got you taken care of. Thanks so much. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Vinny just ordered the shirt. What up, Vin? Looking forward to representing Love and Relo. Move for Hunger. Thank you, Vinny. I appreciate you, man. This might be one of my favorite comments of the day. Chris Roberts, another brilliant mind in Relo. What people say they want versus what they need often are misaligned. Mm-hmm. So wow me with tech, but at the end of the day, the human connection is needed. I agree. Both will continue together. What people say they want versus what they need are often I would even say what people say they want versus what they really want are often misaligned.
Yeah.
But this is the crux of the RFP problem, right? This is the crux of the marketing problem. We build something so that we can get in the door, and then we deliver the personal, good old-fashioned approach augmented with technology.
Yeah, yeah.
But that can't. I mean, is there an opportunity to convince clients that about what they really want? I know you want something bright and shiny. I know you want an 83rd application, a new app on your iPhone. but let me tell you a story.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing is you can't tell people what they want. You're going to get immediate defensiveness. You're going to get people turned off.
Marriage counselor right now?
What's that?
So what are you, my marriage counselor?
Exactly. But what you need is to help them find what they want. And help them with that process and stuff. in that journey. And do we ever get there? No, it's so difficult because no one's got time and no one's got, I mean, unless you have that relationship, it's so hard to get in the door to even have that discussion, you know? And so, you know, that's, you know, my title, I love it because that's what I try to do. And I don't want to just be this, you know, billboard for me, but it's like, how do I get in there and solve that problem that you haven't told me yet? Because I often say, just tell me what's your biggest problem, what's your biggest pain point. I don't care what it is. You could tell me that, you know, you hate all RMCs, whatever. Let me see and give me a chance, you know, and then go that road and build it.
I love your title. Your title is Solutions Architect. How'd you get that title?
I gave it to myself.
Nice. That's like the best gifts in life, right?
It
Sometimes
is.
you kind of give them to yourself, right?
It is.
That's what
But I try to.
I tell my wife, I say, you buy your own Christmas presents, I'll buy mine. We'll both be happy.
Yeah, no, I try to, you know, be that solution, you know, and I know that, you know, in the world of sales, everyone wants to be that solution. So, but I really try to listen. And
I just, as a personal question though, because I'm like the same way. I'm like, tell me what your problems are. I want to just like put my brain to work on it. And like, I want to consult with you and I want to help you on this and I want to figure out your problems and make your life easier. But it's so hard to get people to let down their guard, right? To say, yeah, come on in, Paul, and shadow me for a day as I do my job and then give me some good advice that is going to change my life. Like people, for some reason, don't want to do that. I mean, how do you crack that?
Again, crystal ball. I wish I had it because it'd make everyone's lives and mine a lot easier. But, you know, I just think people got to, you know, just trust. I mean, it's trust and it's letting down guards and letting people in that, you know, that you can, you know, because I love to solve problems. It's, you know, that's why I'm in this industry, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Were you drinking old fashions at the neighborhood friendly guy?
Thanks, Janet. I try, yes. Except for I put it in a really large.
I like how the futurist is drinking old fashions. The irony of that. Mark Maxwell, hey Paul, as we said on our recent session, ideally human relationships will remain core. We seek to automate repetitive tasks and processes. Use of technology to free up time to maximize human.
Yeah, that's our philosophy right there.
That's cool. That's cool, Mark. Spot on. Technology will drastically change how we service, but people always make the difference. Kelly, sure some amount of time start happening. You're spot on, Paul. Yep. Let's see here. Donation made. People are buying the t-shirts. I love it.
It's the Kraken.
It's the Kraken. Clients, Dawn says, clients want the real-time information for certain departments, but they also want the employee experience to be the best in the industry. Yeah, don't they kind of give us mixed signals sometimes about what they're really looking for? Integration. Shout out to Sandra saying need a great tech marketer as an SME, a subject matter expert in APIs, and then reach hey, wait, I know someone go and have this conversation. Get back to you. That's great. Let's see here. Let's see what Vinny says. Vinny, you teased me, man. You said you had to go, but here you are. I would love to see when a client RMC partners are fully integrated. There are so many data points from all directions that it almost makes it impossible. Is it possible to have real-time integration, single point of truth?
No. And it's just because there's limitations in every system. So, you know, like, for example, for Vinny's sake, you know, like whatever system they're in, they don't keep track of 2 locations, period. It's just the shortcoming of HRS systems. They have 1 entry for 1 employee. He's in 1 location, you know, but he's now moving or migrating to a new location. That's where the RMC space comes in. We have 2 locations. Wow, we're special, you know. You know, that's great. When you go to the, you know, to the supplier partner, you know, they may have 1 location, may have 2 locations, just depends on, you know, what their function is. So I don't think there's ever going to be an API that's going to, you know, share all the information. It's going to be one single source of truth. It's really what information do you need to be productive and get your job done that, you know, gives you alerts or gives you updates to what you need. And then from there, you know, you could have, you know, access through portals or through reports or whatever else you need to give you that insight you need that's outside of that system. But I think the ultimate goal from an ecosystem point of view is that everyone's working in their respective sandbox. So
I want to get to all these questions. I know we're over on time, but I don't really care. I'm going to be totally greedy with everybody's time, totally disrespect the constraints here of time. Janet Turner, maybe silly question, is digitization more protected from cyber attacks coming from a non-tech geek person?
I think they are, because you're, how do I describe it? They're more thought out, and they can be updated, and they're done behind firewalls and things of all that nature. So yes, definitely much more secure in that respect. I think the other area is that when technology is done well, it's there's good security in place. The problem is that at the end of the day, we're all human, and we can all be subjective to phishing attacks, for example, or misdirection in some way. We've all heard the story where somebody is, like, you're on Facebook, and then your cousin messages you and says, "Hey, I'm in jail in the UK," and it's like, "Wow, you have Facebook? That's so cool," But those things happen, and that happens outside of those firewalls. They happen in email, they happen in text, they happen in chat, things like that. So that's where getting your day-to-day business out of those avenues help. You can obviously use those avenues to communicate and, do high-level stuff, but any transactions, any paperwork or sharing of information really needs to be restricted to, secure portals and things like that. So, and we do that, with FTP sites and things like that, and, requiring clients to log into portals to get payroll reports or invoices and things like that.
FTP, is that file transfer protocol?
Yeah. So it's super old too, by the way. That's old technology. No, you're good. I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's been around forever. It's been around forever.
Henry Ford invented the file transfer.
It's not anything that's like everyone should have something like access to one. They're not that difficult to get. So
yeah. Tim just tagged all the hackers he knows to come to the show right here, talk about the vulnerabilities. Henry Dussois, funny, I did not see global mobility turning into an ecosystem a la Apple, but why not after all?
Mm-hmm.
Or competing ecosystem to lock clients in?
I can see that, because it's a hook, if you want to call it, to a client, where you could say, well, you're not going to get this somewhere else. You got this great ecosystem that's working for you. Why change?
Well, once you integrate with their HR thing, and they remember how painful that is to go through the mapping and all the, it sounds easy on the sales process, right? When Paul says it sounds so easy. You got to sit there for months trying to and then once you have it mapped out, ain't nobody want to go do that again, So I could definitely see that building a moat around some relationships. Sandra says, bad tech is worse than no tech. It indicates you either don't know how the business works, or that you don't have the wherewithal to put into play, or you don't care to invest in good stuff, or you're not listening to your customers and you didn't actually try this out and get voice of the customer in the process. It's just so much disrespect. Let's see, Vinny, what's up, Vin? Let's see here. Victoria, can AI deliver the buyout offer? Yay.
I mean, I think they could down the road. I don't think it'll have the panache, if that's the right word, the touch. Yeah. Where, you're like, hey, how's it going? Guess what? I got your value. And guess what? It's $20,000 less than you thought it would be. AI could just say, hey, bing, it's right here. Good luck. Yes or no. So
yeah.
Whether that softens the blow or not, I don't know. So
awesome. Let's see here. Martin says, are you aware of any companies using predictive analytics to determine if an employee is a good candidate for a promotion or relocation?
I do and I don't. So actually, I'll refer you to Randy. Randy
Decker?
Decker, yes. He's got a good tool out there. And I've been trying to work with him to get that at our spot. But he does satisfaction surveys and brings them back to ROI. And obviously, I mean, a lot of it's intuitive because we know the best candidates, single, typically male. I don't want to be, a sexist or anything, but that's
way to end the show on a high note.
I know. But that's what, but it's and it's not necessarily, which is the best candidate. It's how do you work with the candidates you have to make it successful, and taking those points and now saying, okay, well, I don't have that male single person who's going to go on assignment, but I have this. Well, these are the areas where you can improve the experience, or you can invest in the experience, because that's what's going to make it more, get a better return, more satisfaction, better results.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see what the analytics say about the success of different demographics, because I mean, I've had so many women on the show who kind of talk about how this is part of the opportunity relocation, and the access to opportunity for women, for people of color, for whatever is kind of part of the whole like disparity. We're getting some thoughtful.
I know. I'm sorry.
Little icons over here. Hit like, hit thoughtful, hit the light bulb if you agree. But it would be interesting to see, right? And to get some predictions around this stuff. We're running over. I appreciate, all of these comments are just fantastic. Everybody's been really active on this. You could tell this is something that people are really engaged with and thinking about. I want to give you the opportunity, Paul, just leave us with a final thought. I mean, what's your final thought about digitization, in relocation?
So that's an interesting opportunity. I like this. But I think, don't be afraid of it. Obviously, I think it's something we have to embrace. I think, if we're Henry, let's say we're not Henry Ford, let's say we're, John the horse, guy, and I have the opportunity to hire Henry Ford. Don't be afraid of that innovation, because the worst thing that can happen is that you don't innovate and then you just die, for lack of a better word. So don't be afraid of it. Find ways that you can embrace it and make it work for you and your group, whatever that is. And finally, I think I lost my thought.
But no, I think that's important. I saw Sully Sullenberger, Captain of Miracle on Earth, and he was talking about innovation. And he's like, innovation is changing before you're forced to change. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about, right? It's like, be proactive in your own change, because you don't want to be a victim of someone else making you change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just fear that there's I mean, I don't have the crystal ball, but if we don't keep innovating, we're going to miss that road. I think I'm proud of our industry, actually, because I know we talked about this earlier. It was no one gave us a roadmap, and yet if we were to sit down with every single RMC and share notes, we'd all be in a similar place. It's like, how did we all get here? But it's just that's the industry's taking us that way, and we just need to continue down that path.
Awesome. This is fantastic. Paul, thank you so much for being here today. It's just, I always love talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, shout out to everyone out there. Thanks for joining us today. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that applause icon, right? Give it up for Paul. We've got a great couple of shows lined up for the rest of the week. We've got Gabby Backhuber from Rockwell Automation is going to be on tomorrow. She's going to be talking from a corporate mobility standpoint on immigration and other things, all other things, global mobility. And then on Friday, we got that special episode, which I teased earlier with, it's a Move for Hunger episode. We've got Rachel Hurst from Kroger. We've got Greg Newt from Northwest Harvest, which is a food bank. And we've got Roxanne Moore from Sodexo Fight Hunger Foundation. We are going to be raising some money. We are going to be talking about how you can actually put on your own food drive, how you can do COVID safe front porch food drives, right? Which is like super simple. Just leave the bag stuff outside, right? And we'll take it. So anyway, great opportunity to get involved. Again, thank you to today's guest, Paul Seymour, Solutions Architect from Bristol Global Mobility. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody that tuned in.
Thanks.